Wait a minute, I hear something.
Dr. Movie! Dr. Movie! Blueberry News! Dr. Movie! Dr. Movie! Yeah!
What's going on, everybody? It's Dr. Movie time again. Kicking out shows, I don't know, mostly 5 times a week, if that's not enough for you. These are little short episodes that are about 15, 20 minutes long. It can go longer. Let's just be realistic. But I try to keep them short because I'm doing them while I'm driving my car, and I can't elaborate a whole lot while driving. But with that being said, I've been talking about a couple of more recent movies here lately, and with most of those, I end up saying, I've kind of seen this before. Do we really need this? Another retelling of this story? And with this one, I'm going to have to say, I've never seen this one before. All right? So, yeah, this is Infinity Pool from 2023, horror sci-fi. Yeah. They forgot to leave out drug-induced technicolor orgy. It's a little everything here, folks. It's like you took Ken Russell and put him in a blender. Yeah. That's all you gotta do. Put Ken Russell in a blender, and you kind of get something like this, right? If you don't know who Ken Russell is, then you're missing on a world of incredibly insane movies, right? Lair of the White Worm, Altered States, the list goes on, The Devils. Yeah, so this one is from 2023, horror sci-fi, like I said. The synopsis, man, these darn synopses that I'm finding here lately are like 3 paragraphs long. Let's find this one, see what it says. Not as long, I hope, because it's hard to drive and do this all at the same time. Let's see here. Oh, great, I get an advertisement. Here we go. This one says official synopsis. How about that? Here we go. While staying in an isolated island resort, James and EM, not just M, are enjoying a perfect vacation of pristine beaches, exceptional staff, and soaking up the sun. But guided by a seductive and mysterious Gaddy, they venture outside the resort grounds and find themselves in a culture filled with violence, hedonism, and untold horror. Yeah, that's pretty true. So, what a scenario here, right? You're on vacation. The guy is an author. He's writing his newest story, but he's kind of got the writer's block thing going on, so you need some inspiration. Hey, let's go spend some time on a secluded beach that's near perfect, but you're in these countries where, the law's a little more tough and underground than you're used to, right? Let's talk about our cast real quick. Sorry, folks, things are pulling slow. We got Mia Goth in this. I mean, come on. That's one of the original reasons of even checking this out, right? She, in my opinion, she is pretty much the scream queen of this time period. She's just kind of all over the place right now. Very distinct features. Great actress. Yeah, she's perfect for this role in this. Alexander Skarsgård has been in a few things. Cleopatra Coleman. I'm not going to get into all that. That's a lot of stuff to try to dig through while I'm driving. But you've seen these folks in different things. Can't think of right offhand, but I'm sure you're yelling them right now while listening. And thank you for that. But yeah, let's talk about this one. Wow, what a bizarre flick, right? It seems like they're having the vacation of their life. Everything's slow and calmed down, taking it easy, and then they end up meeting this couple which is Mia Goth. Gabby is the character's name, and her significant other. And he kind of feels like a loose cannon, but you get these feelings from her that, she's up for a little mischief as well. But what really happens is they decide to sneak off and go have a picnic together, the four of them. And one of them says, hey, I got my friend's car. We'll take off in this car and we'll go do these things. So they go out. And there's one scene, again, you get the feelings that Mia's making the moves on James, our main character, James Foster, who's the Arthur, right? And of course, he's with his, I'm assuming, wife, girlfriend, whichever she is, whatever she is. And he goes to relieve himself. And the only way to say this is Mia, or Gabby, comes up behind him and gives him the old reach around. I don't know if that's a popular term where you're from, but, she gives him a reach around. That's all I can tell you. Which happens really quick. So I'm just going to leave that where it is. I'm going to leave that on the table. So now you got this weird situation where she just walks back and acts like nothing ever happened. Like you expect a weirdo to do. And it's getting late. They decide to get back in the car and drive back. And James is driving the car. It's late at night. Headlights start flickering and he hits a guy that's walking down the road. And it kills the guy. And instead of calling the police, they say, nope, we can't do that because the police here are brutal. If they take you in, it will be a bad situation. And this is kind of where the normalcy of the movie stops, right? Because at this point, they make their way back to the hotel. They're locked out. They can't go in. And they plead for the officers. They bring out their cards that they belong there. We made a mistake. We stayed out too long, yada, yada. We know we're supposed to stay, at the place where we're supposed to leave. So they get back inside. They feel like everything's okay. Till the next day, the police show up and take James and M to the police station. It's at this point that they get the recollection of everything that happened. And they make a deal with James where they will make a clone of you and have that clone sacrificed. Again, this is where we're getting off deep. Oh, I forgot to mention. This is done by Brandon Cronenberg, if that means anything to you. No significant thing there. I mean, it's just the son of David Cronenberg, which we've just covered a couple of his movies recently. Yeah, so there you go. And, totally expected, right? Because if you think about the Cronenberg flicks, this one fits right in with Videodrome, Existence, some of those movies like that. But it feels like some of Cronenberg's later flicks, like Spider or History of Violence. It really plays like those. It's not as strict up horror as you would expect. It's got that other flair to it. But yeah, I mean, what an interesting concept of take it as you want, even if you want to go biblical with it. The sacrificial lamb, right? You can have them, you pay them an outrageous amount of money. They create a clone of you, and it gets sacrificed in your place. And when he decides to let this happen, of course, you get, a very altered states kind of scene where he gets put in this infinity pool, and it starts filling up with this liquid, and he starts seeing things through the Ken Russell cam, right? Where everything is colorful and weird and sexual and animalistic, and it's those things you can't describe, right? It's a strobe light, and you took a hit of acid, and you're at a discotheque. I mean, that's that's kind of what it looks like. It's kind of like the scene from Jacob's Ladder, right? It's you can't make out really much anything, but you see flashes of things. You go, well, I know what that is, but I'm not really sure what's going on, right? It's that kind of stuff. This movie gets nutsoid, really quick. Because what happens is, if you have the capability, and this is that thing that I talk about even with David Cronenberg, it's that what if. What if this was a possibility? What does that do to you as a human? Because now you've got a scapegoat. You can go and do pretty much anything you want to do, be as vile as you want to be. And if you get in trouble, you have a clone made, and it gets killed in your place. And by the time this movie is over, dude's racked up like 3 urns, right? Where the body's been, I guess, cremated, and he keeps the remains. So he just keeps getting further and further down this tunnel till it finally turns its back on him, and he don't want no more of that, right? It's an interesting concept. The fact of him being just totally, before it's over with, totally obsessed with Gabby. And there's all these scenes, it's all disconjointed. You're not exactly sure what's going on. But at the end, it's basically the story of you fighting your inner self, right? It's Superman 3, right? Or Pink Floyd The Wall, if you want to go that far with it. I didn't put that together before. It is very Floydish in a way, right? The storyline is. And, except Bob Geldof shaved off his eyebrows, and Mia Goth just doesn't have any eyebrows. But, anywho, that's the story here. And, that's, I don't want to, there's not a lot more I can talk about and make it make any sense. There's some really bizarre things that happen where, like I said, they end up going and kidnapping a police officer, which is supposedly the one that that made all this happen for him in the first place, and they let him get all hyped up on whatever this is, goose juice, and let him start beating up this cop who's handcuffed and can't do anything. And when they pull his mask off, it's him. He sees himself. So you kind of get a lot of that going on through this, where there's even a scene where they bring a dog out, to smell the fear in him, and towards the end, and the dog is him, and he has to fight a dog that's him. So again, there's a lot of weirdness, and that's totally what you expect. But at the core of it, it's still that story of, if you knew you could cheat death, would it change the person that you are? And obviously the answer is yes, right? But to what extreme? So that's the thing to walk away with this movie is as perverse as it gets and as crazy as it gets, there is still a no pun intended, there's still a wall that you're going to hit. Crap, I just need to do the wall, don't I? So how does that affect you, right? Because when it gets to the end of this, you would think that a guy that has the ability to never worry about dying again, as long as he has the means, the funds to pay for it, would be okay. But at the end of it, he's isolated and can't deal with himself. So it's got a lot of depth to it that you have to ponder about. This is one of those movies that it's not for everybody. There's no doubt. This is not for everybody. It's a deep flick, which I happen to like a lot of. So a lot of symbolism here, a lot of inner self, right? Dealing with your soul. This is an interesting flick. Can I recommend it? I recommend it to people that like Pink Floyd The Wall, or if you like Cronenberg, if you like what was the movie? Behind the Black Rainbow? Was that what it was called? Something like that. Dang. It has that same kind of feel to it. I probably just gave it the wrong name, but some of you probably know what I'm talking about. Same kind of feel with this. Visually striking, no doubt about it. Beautifully shot. This is going to be a movie that's going to launch Brandon's career into another level, I believe. So, looking forward to see what comes next. Because if this is where he's heading, then we got some awesome stuff coming. All right, folks. I didn't rate this one. I am gonna give this a 4 out of 5. I think it's one of the flicks you kind of have to see. Again, not straight up horror, but it's definitely got, again, those Ken Russell vibes, man. If that's kind of your thing, then you got to check this one out. All right, folks, that's it for this one. Till next time, we will check you later.
Dr. Luby!